हाय फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम बैक। तो चलो देखते हैं जिमी किम्बल को रिएक्ट करते हुए डोनाल्ड ट्रंप विनिंग द प्रेसिडेंशियल इलेक्शन। कॉमेडी होने वाली है, समझ गया। तो चलो वीडियो शुरू करते हैं। वीडियो शुरू करने से पहले अगर आप चैनल पर नए हो और आपने अभी तक सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया तो जल्दी से पहले सब्सक्राइब के बटन और बेल आइकन को क्लिक कर लो ताकि आपको हमारे सारे न्यू वीडियोस के नोटिफिकेशन मिल जाएं जैसे हम अपलोड करें।
अगर आपको वीडियो पसंद आता है प्लीज लाइक एंड शेयर। चलिए शुरू करते हैं।
Jimmy, what are you doing?
I'm packing.
Packing? Are you going on vacation?
No, I'm not going on vacation. I'm leaving the country.
Why are you leaving the country?
I can't stay for another 4 years of this. Who knows what he's going to do?
Who? Donald Trump?
Yes, Donald Trump. You've heard him. He said he has a list of enemies. You think I'm not on that list?
Calm down. You're acting like a stupid little baby.
Oh,
When the going gets tough, what do the tough do?
get going. That's what I'm doing. I'm getting going. Ow!
Jimmy, we need you. We need you to help us get through this. You have a very important voice.
I do?
Yes, Jimmy. This is the country. We need you.
Maybe you're right.
Yeah, do it for the blue, white, and red.
Yeah, it's really just the red, white, and blue, but thank you, Guillermo. I appreciate that. You know what? You're right. You're right. I need to stay here. We have unfinished business. What's with the suitcase?
I'm going back to Mexico. You're on your own, buddy.
John Favreau, John Logan, Dan Piper, and Tommy Vito, plus music from Alessia Cara with Cleto and the Cletos. And now, Jimmy Kimmel. I spent a lot of time over the last 17 hours or so thinking about what I would say tonight, what there even is to say tonight. And there's nothing. Good night, everybody. Let me tell you, that was the worst Taco Tuesday of my whole life. We had the choice between a prosecutor and a criminal, and we chose the criminal to be president of the United States. More than half of this country voted for the criminal who's planning to pardon himself for his crime. I guess this election wasn't rigged. That's weird, though, right? I mean, he said it would be rigged. He said it was being rigged while people were in line voting. Isn't it remarkable that this time the fix wasn't in? Last time the Democrats cheated. This time we chose not to, I guess. I don't know. Now, this Donald Trump is like the Emperor from Star Wars. He's old, he's evil, and he keeps coming back with no reasonable explanation whatsoever. Last until they catch up off those White House walls. I'm still trying to figure out what happened. Be honest. Last week, did you guys send that monologue to a Republican like I asked you to? Those of you who are hate watching this show right now, wanting to watch me suffer, you will be happy to know that there was no joy in Mudville last night. I was all over the place. One minute I'm watching these long lines in every city and I think, oh, that's beautiful, democracy in action. Next minute there's a reporter chatting with some bro at Arizona State who said he voted for Trump because Kamala didn't go on Joe Rogan's podcast. And I'm like, where did I leave my passport? My kids were very upset. Every once in a while when something bad happens, we let our kids curse for 30 seconds. We tell them they have 30 seconds to say anything, and all the words they choose are curses. So at breakfast this morning, my wife tells our daughter Jane, who's upset, she said, you can do it. And just as she starts the cursing, our 7-year-old Billy comes down the stairs. He's wearing a black Adidas tracksuit and high tops and a pair of Ray-Bans. He looks like the 4th member of Run DMC. And he just hears the tail end. He says, what's going on? And my wife says, well, Donald Trump won. And he goes, almost made losing the election worth it. I got a lot of texts yesterday, all day and night, from anxious friends and family and co-workers, and I have to say a lot of them involved diarrhea. Diarrhea was at an all-time high in America yesterday, which made me wonder, what is it about me that makes others so comfortable sharing that information? Like I'm Princess Diarrhea or something here. But President Biden watched the action from the White House last night. He was squinting at the TV and trying to change the channel with an old calculator he thinks is a remote. But I was thinking about him. It must have been weird for him to watch that. It was supposed to be him on the ballot. It's like that movie Final Destination where the guy has a premonition and gets off his flight and then watches from the gate as the plane that you're supposed to be on explodes? It was like that, but with diarrhea. And President Biden called Donald Trump today to congratulate him and to invite him to the White House to discuss the transition and maybe watch a little Matlock starring Kathy Bates. Kamala Harris called Trump today too. She conceded and then explained what the word conceded means. Sounds like... That means you're stuck up, right? Conceded? And she did it because that's how it's supposed to be done in America. There's an election and then they count the votes. And if the Democrat loses, they call to congratulate the winner. Harris also gave a concession speech at her alma mater, Howard University. She said, it's going to be okay. The light of America's promise will always burn bright. And she's right. You know, the reason America is the greatest country in the world is that even a simple garbage man and fry cook from McDonald's can one day be president of the United States 2 different times. And I think that's inspiring. Poor Tim Walz right now is in his backyard playing a very solemn game of cornhole by himself. In Nevada, they had a problem with ballots from thousands of young voters whose signatures didn't match the ballot because they don't know how to sign their names. Well, they did tell us not to give our kids iPads, and we didn't listen. But at least they tried. I do want to say thank you to everyone who voted, even if you just did it to get a bottle of water from Paul Rudd. Thank you for voting. And very important, if you're in line, stay in line. Do not leave the line. Overall, the voting itself went relatively smoothly, despite a number of bomb threats that were called and emailed into heavily Democratic precincts in Georgia, Arizona, and Michigan. Authorities say they seem to have originated in Russia. You can tell the Russians are running out of ideas when they're trying to disrupt our elections now, using the same tricks kids in the 80s used to get out of PE. But the rest was not great. Let's be honest, it was a terrible night last night. It was a terrible night for women, for children, for the hundreds of thousands of hardworking immigrants who make this country go, for healthcare, for employment, for science, for journalism, for justice, for free speech. It was a terrible night for poor people, for the middle class, for seniors who rely on Social Security, for our allies in Ukraine, for NATO, and democracy and decency. And it was a terrible night for everyone who voted against him. And guess what? It was a bad night for everyone who voted for him, too. You just don't realize it yet.
मैं समझ रहा हूँ क्योंकि what he's trying to say.
Most of all,
दोनों कैंडिडेट में लफड़े भी थे.
it was an absolute disaster of a night for
दोनों में
Melania.
लफड़े थे.
But it was a really good night for Putin and for polio and for lovable billionaires like Elon Musk and the bros up in Silicon Valley and all the wriggling brainworms who sold what was left of their souls to bow down to Donald Trump. But you know what? I'm going to say something that Trump would never say unless it favored him. The people voted, and this is the choice we made. In January, Donald Trump becomes president, and that's that. He won. Doesn't mean we give up, but it also doesn't mean we storm the Capitol because we don't like the result. And, you know, I've been trying. I know a lot of people don't want to hear anything positive. I've been trying to come up with something positive. The best I can come up with is we've been through this once before. And yes, this time it is probably going to be worse, maybe a lot worse. But I also think that maybe we will look back and realize that in the long run, this is what we needed to wake us up. Maybe the people who care so much about him need to find out how little he cares about them. Now,
I hope not.
all the
midterm में change कर देंगे अगर नहीं हुआ जैसे बोला था.
wars and opposing tariffs, how he's going to crush inflation and cut taxes. Now he has to do this stuff.
Correct.
And I hope he does. I really do. I hope his
Great
next
point.
unpredictable act is to reach across the aisle and do something positive.
Do it.
He really does. The bar's low. He has an opportunity to win us over. Remember when he took office the first time, he started working on infrastructure with Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi until the other Republicans say, hey, we don't do that. We don't work together. Maybe this time he'll shock us and actually do some productive things. He won't, probably, but he could. Or maybe the only good part of all this is he can't run again in 2028.
He should do a really good job to prove himself इस बारी कि मेरे लास्ट समय में USA को great again करके ही
We'll
जाऊंगा.
nominate an orangutan for president. Why not? At least make it fun. My only request to President-elect Trump is that he let me share a prison cell with Taylor Swift. I'm really good at making bracelets, and I think we'd get along just fine. We'll see how funny that is in 6 months when the great talk show host roundup begins. Raise your hand if you have at least one family member with whom you are no longer on speaking terms as a result of this election. All right, it's fewer than I thought, but still too many. You know, over the past few months, a lot of close relationships have been damaged or destroyed. And if you did lose a relative to this race, I would like to offer to share my cousin Mickey with you. This is my cousin Mickey. She is...
the best.
ये मैं से वापस आ गया.
She's kind.
Skip thing.
She's always
पता है.
happy. She makes a really good Rice Krispies treat. She'll always make your birthday special whether you want her to or not, and she always has balloons on hand. So Mickey is going to be America's cousin from now on. Not anymore. Mickey, please share something positive. Inspire us. Share something with the new members of your family. Go ahead.
Well, just be yourselves and don't let anything break your spirit. Keep your spirits up, persevere, and everything's going to be okay. Be true to yourself and keep listening to this guy because he's the best cousin around.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mickey. She rides into work on a unicorn, everybody. Listen, I'm disappointed. I know a lot of you are too. I thought common sense would prevail. I'm so stupid. I always think it's going to, but for a lot of people, this just isn't important. It's not high on their list. There's evidence that many voters didn't even realize Joe Biden wasn't on the ballot anymore. Over the past 2 days, there was a spike in Google searches for the phrase,
my
did
God.
Joe Biden drop out?
Oh
Most
my
of them
God.
coming from this IP address. Now, the idea that after all the talk about this election, I mean, it was literally the only thing people talked about for a year. So the idea that some Americans didn't know who was running seems so crazy to me. So we decided to conduct our own totally unscientific poll. We went out in the street today and we asked people if they voted today. And of course, the election was yesterday. But did our fellow Americans know that? Well, let's find out.
My God.
आज आके पूछ रहे जब कल वोट था.
कितने लोग बोलते हैं क्या बात कर रहे हैं?
Election day, you plan on voting today?
Yes.
Do you know where your polling place is?
It's by my house. Yes.
By your house. Are there big lines at the polling place today?
Yes, there is.
Are you worried about standing in line? Or is that part of the whole process?
It's part of the whole process. Yeah, you need to make sure that you stay and vote. Even if that line is a little long, you just got to make sure you stay in that line.
Let me ask you this, Andres. Do you think Joe Biden still has a chance?
Yes.
One last thing.
बहुत
Are you
भोले
going to
लोग
set your
हैं.
clocks back next week?
यहाँ पे भी हैं बोले.
इतने messed up हैं, they don't even know.
Today, Wednesday, November 6th, obviously Election Day. Are you excited about it?
I'm excited, but I'm very nervous as well. Yes.
ये भी.
Do you have any predictions for the election?
अच्छा.
I
कल
don't
हो
have
चुके
any
हैं.
predictions. I've been watching the news, and it's hard to say what's going to happen. So
What news have you been watching?
I watch. I'm kind of a news junkie, so I read a lot on the internet. I watch
News
NBC.
junkie.
I watch a little bit of Fox, and yeah.
Do you plan on voting today?
Yes.
You gonna vote today? Who are you voting for today?
Paris.
Paris?
Yes.
Great.
हो गया एक वोट गया भैया.
You think Paris can still get it done?
I hope so. I believe in you. We believe in you. You can do it. You got this.
Today is Wednesday, November 6th.
My
You planning
God.
on voting today?
No,
Why?
I don't believe in voting. I don't really think our vote matters. I think it's the higher ups at Wall Street that pick whatever is happening, period.
You think they're just not listening to the common people?
Yeah, absolutely.
They need bigger ears.
Yeah.
Election. Where are you going to be watching the voting results today?
Just from home.
From home?
Yeah.
Who are you watching with?
My boyfriend.
Is he voting today?
Yes, yeah.
Are there long lines at the polls you're seeing today?
Not at the place we went to. No, it wasn't too bad. But
Do you want to wish Kamala Harris good luck today in the
I
election?
do.
Look right there and tell
Okay, good luck with the election.
Okay,
I really hope you
whatever.
win. I'm putting all my hope into it.
My
so
God, बेचारी.
yeah.
her. Why is it so important for people to get out today, Wednesday, November 6th, and vote?
Because a lot of rights are on the line, and it's important to have your voice be heard.
And if we're not
तुम
paying
बुरा मत
attention,
फील करो. इंडिया में भी ऐसे बोले बहुत है.
Exactly.
अपने आप को सोचते हैं बड़े नॉलेजेबल
Wednesday,
हैं.
November
और
6th,
अभी ये
you know,
ये हाल है
or you
बोलों
vote
का.
By mail.
Probably by mail.
By mail? You
Yeah.
send it in? We're good.
Oh damn. For real, just like.
All right, well now.
कोई नहीं इंडिया में भी बहुत भूल हैं भाई. मैं इन लोगों को जब ये अपनी ये इंटरव्यू सुन के उनका पता चलेगा कि भैया इलेक्शन तो एक दिन पहले हो चुके हैं और तुम बड़ी
बहुत
कॉन्फिडेंटली
embarrassing होगा
और
उनके
इस
लिए.
तरह से बात कर रहे थे, तो भैया तुम बुरा ना मानो, इंडिया में भी तुम्हारे जैसे बहुत भोले लोग
एक
हैं.
बंदा कहता है मैं तो न्यूज़ बहुत देखता हूँ.
हाँ बहुत. मैं तो न्यूज क्या था, क्या बोला था, कोई वर्ड यूज करता, मैं न्यूज जंकी टाइप कुछ बोला था वो हूँ,
न्यूज़ junkie,
है
न्यूज़
ना.
देखता हूँ. ऑनलाइन जाके न्यूज़ देखता हूँ.
ये वो न्यूज सुनता है. वही तो मैं कह रही हूँ, जब उसने ये बोला ना तो मैं यही सोच रही थी, हमारे यहाँ पे भी तो कमेंट सेक्शन में आते हैं ना लोग जो दिखाते हैं कि भैया उनमें सारी नॉलेज कूट कूट के भरी हुई है, और आगे लिखते हैं कमेंट में, और मैं जब पढ़ती हूँ मैं कहती हूँ हे भगवान कैसे लोग आए हुए हैं.
मैसिव भोले थे ये.
भैया
और
ये
मगर
वही
किया
है.
बहुत
तुम
अच्छा
लोग
experiment
और
था.
ये लोग सेम है.
एक्सपेरिमेंट बहुत ही अच्छा किया था
बहुत मजेदार है।
कि इलेक्शन के अगले दिन लोगों को पूछ रहे हैं कि क्या तुमने वोट किया।
बेचारी कमला हैरिस तो
उन्होंने
रो
of
रही
course वही
होगी।
सैंपल दिखाए हैं जिन्होंने लोगों ने कहा था कि हाँ मैं करूंगा
हाँ
आज।
करूंगा कुछ
Of course, जिन लोगों ने बोला होगा क्या बात कर रहा है यार, कल कर तो आए हैं, मतलब क्या
हाँ, वो तो उनका करने
उनका
ही
हटाया
दिखाया
दिया उन्होंने, सिर्फ वही दिखाए हैं
बताया।
लोग जो इतने भोले थे जो कह रहे हैं हाँ जी हाँ जी। एक तो मेल से करने वाला है, वो तो अर्ली वोटिंग होती है, तो आपको 15-20 दिन पहले अरेंज करना
पहले की
पड़ता
होती
है।
है। ये
वो
अभी
करेगा
जा
भाई,
रहा
मेल
है।
करेगा
वो भी जो
अगले साल के लिए कर रहा है
पता
क्या? अगले 4 साल की बात कर रहा है क्या?
पता नहीं क्या कर रहा है। मैं तो देख देख के इतनी हैरान हो रही थी कि भैया क्या, मैं तो कह रही हूँ बेचारी कमला हैरिस अगर इसको देखेगी तो वो रो रही होगी कि मेरा एक वोट चला गया, क्योंकि उसने तो कमला हैरिस को करना था। एक ने कह रहा था ना कमला हैरिस को करूंगा, तो वो तो उसका बेचारी का वोट चला गया।
देखिए इसमें यही था कि इसने बताया कि क्या क्या चीज़ें जो थी, उसने स्पेसिफिकली बोला था कि ये एक तरफ एक लड़की जो अटॉर्नी है और एक तरफ एक जिसको कन्विक्ट कर चुके हैं एज अ फेलन, वो थे, लोगों ने क्या चूज़ किया। और बार बार इंटरनेट वही कह रहा है कि आपने उस डोनाल्ड ट्रंप की पर्सनालिटी को नहीं देखा है, आपने देखा कि व्हाट ही सेड ही विल डू। अगर वो सब कार्य वो कर दे, इट इज़ वेरी गुड, दैट्स फाइन, वही लोगों को चाहिए। डोंट केयर अबाउट किसी की पर्सनल लाइफ में क्या 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 नहीं है, उसकी पर्सनल लाइफ है, वो उसका अपना पर्सनल मैटर है। अगर देश का भला कर देता दैट इज़ ग्रेट। सो सबसे ज़्यादा हर एनालिसिस में आ रहा है कि हैरिस कैंपेन ने सोचा नहीं था कि सबसे लोगों को इकोनॉमी की पड़ी हुई थी और इमिग्रेशन की, दे डिडंट अंडरस्टैंड दैट।
वो तो है।
वो पर्सनल कैरेक्टर पे चले गए, लोगों ने बोला पर्सनल कैरेक्टर उसका पर्सनल मामला है, तुम देश का बताओ क्या करोगे रादर देन पर्सनल कैरेक्टर।
अगर देश का जो तुम बोल रहे हो वो कर दोगे तो हम तुम्हारा पर्सनल कैरेक्टर को इग्नोर
और अच्छी बात है इलोन मस्क को भी पता है कि मिड टर्म में
तभी
लोग सब
उसने ये बोला
पलटा उल्टा कर देंगे अगर कुछ नहीं हुआ तब तक।
क्योंकि तुम्हारे पर्सनल कैरेक्टर को इग्नोर करके
इग्नोर करा लोगों ने।
लोगों ने
उन्होंने बोला तुम देश का भला
नहीं
कर
तो
दो,
नहीं
that's what we
देते।
need।
मैं बता रही हूँ, नहीं तो नहीं जनता ने देना था, हमने इग्नोर करके दिया है इस बात को सोच के कि जो बोल रहा है वो कर देगा, जो देश के लिए अच्छा है। तो चलो यार, आप भी शेयर करना, था बड़ा मजेदार यार। बेस्ट तो मेरे को स्टार्टिंग वाला जो था वो तो टू गुड था, कि वो पैक करके जा रहा है, उसका वो कहता नहीं नहीं तुम मत जाओ, और खुद पैक करके वो मैक्सिको वापस जा रहा है। और इसलिए ज्यादा मजेदार था क्योंकि इलीगल इमिग्रेंट्स जो ज्यादा आ रहे हैं और मैक्सिको में यार
जो भी है वो ये नहीं दिखा रहे कि वो इलीगल है, परेशान होकर जा रहे हैं।
वही मैं वैसे मैं उस एंगल से सोच के मुझे और हंसी आ रही थी। तो चलो यार, आप भी शेयर करना अपने थॉट्स। चलते हैं, मिलेंगे नेक्स्ट वीडियो में बहुत ही जल्द। टिल देन टेक केयर एंड बाय बाय।
तो अगर आप मेरे इस चैनल पे नए हो तो जल्दी से सब्सक्राइब के बटन को हिट करो और बेल आइकन को क्लिक करो, ताकि आपको मेरा जब नया वीडियो मैं लगाऊं आपको उसके बारे में जल्दी से पता चल जाए।